Welcome back to Worth Coin, your go-to spot for rare coin facts, values, and the stories behind them. Today, we're diving into the top 5 most valuable Washington quarter-dollar coins, from rare silver issues to modern minting mistakes that are worth a fortune. First up, the 1997 Washington quarter dollar is part of the long-running Washington quarter series that began in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. By 1997, the series was well into its clad composition era, having transitioned from 90% silver to a copper-nickel clad format in 1965. The 1997 quarter was struck at both the Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D-mint mark, mints, with massive mintages of over 595 million from Philadelphia and over 599 million from Denver, making it an extremely common coin in circulation. Because of these high production numbers, most 1997 Washington quarters hold only face value, 25 cents, when found in circulated condition. However, in mint state condition, especially in higher grades like MS66 or MS67, the value increases modestly. An uncirculated 1997 quarter-graded MS65 typically sells for around $5 to $10, while an MS67 specimen might bring $30 to $50, or slightly more, depending on collector demand and eye appeal. Coins with exceptional strike quality, known as full strike, or those with strong luster, tend to fetch the higher end of the price range. Proof versions of the 1997 quarter were struck at the San Francisco Mint and bear an S mint mark. These were made exclusively for collectors and are not found in general circulation. They feature mirror-like surfaces and frosted designs and were struck using specially prepared dies. A standard 1997 S-proof quarter in its original packaging is typically worth around $3 to $5, but deep cameo examples or coins graded P R70 DCAM by professional grading services may bring $15 or more. In terms of errors and varieties, the 1997 Washington quarter has very few significant known errors, but collectors should always look out for striking anomalies such as off-center strikes, double dies, or clipped planchets. These types of errors can significantly increase the value of an otherwise common coin, sometimes reaching into the hundreds of dollars depending on the severity and visibility of the error. Next up, the 1985 Washington quarter dollar is part of the copper-nickel-clad era of U.S. coinage, having been struck 2 decades after the U.S. Mint ended the use of 90% silver in regular circulation coins. This quarter was produced at both the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, D mint mark, with extremely high mintage numbers, over 775 million from Philadelphia and over 519 million from Denver. Due to this massive production, the 1985 quarter is very common in circulation and holds only face value, 25 cents, when found in average circulated condition. However, collectors do seek out high-grade uncirculated examples, especially those that have been well-preserved and exhibit strong luster and clean surfaces. A 1985 P or 1985 D quarter in MS65 condition is typically worth around $5 to $10, while coins graded MS66 or MS67 can command higher prices, sometimes between $30 and $60, $100, or more, depending on the market and the coin's eye appeal. That said, even in high grades, these quarters are not especially rare due to the large quantities that were saved in uncirculated rolls. The San Francisco Mint also produced proof versions of the 1985 quarter, bearing the S mint mark. These coins were not released for circulation and were sold in special proof sets for collectors. They are easily recognizable by their mirror-like backgrounds and frosted devices. A typical 1985 S-proof quarter is worth about $3 to $5, but a flawless example graded PR70 Deep Cameo by a major grading service could fetch up to $20 or more. Next up, the 1991 Washington Quarter Dollar is a modern-era U.S. coin that belongs to the copper-nickel-clad series, which replaced silver coinage starting in 1965. The coin was struck at both the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, D-mint mark, with very high mintage numbers, over 571 million for the Philadelphia issue and more than 630 million from the Denver Mint. Due to this massive production, the 1991 quarter is extremely common, especially in circulated condition, and generally holds only its face value of 25 cents. In extra fine, XF condition, the coin shows light wear on the highest points, with most details still visible and clear, but it's still considered a circulated coin. In this grade, a 1991 Washington quarter typically has a market value of about 30 to 50 cents, depending on the buyer, though many dealers may offer it at face value unless it's part of a complete set. From a historical standpoint, the 1991 quarter continues the long-running design by John Flanagan, featuring a left-facing portrait of George Washington on the obverse and the heraldic eagle with outstretched wings on the reverse. This design had been in use since 1932 and would continue until 1998, just before the launch of the 50-state quarters program in 1999. As such, the 1991 quarter is part of the final decade of traditional Washington quarters before the U.S. Mint began issuing state-themed reverses. The 1991 quarter has no widely known or documented varieties, but collectors do seek out errors such as off-center strikes, die breaks, or double-die obverses, cheatons, reverses. These are rare for this year, but if present, they can significantly increase the value, often ranging from $25 to several $100s, depending on the severity and clarity of the error. The proof version of the 1991 quarter was struck at the San Francisco Mint S mint mark and was only included in special collector sets. These coins feature a mirror-like surface and frosted devices, and are generally worth around $2 to $5, though perfect PR70 Deep Cameo examples can sell for $15 or more. Next up, the 1985 D Washington Quarter Dollar was minted at the Denver Mint, indicated by the D mint mark on the obverse front of the coin, just to the right of George Washington's ponytail. This quarter is part of the modern-clad coinage era, struck with a copper-nickel composition over a pure copper core. It does not contain any silver, which limits its intrinsic metal value. In terms of mintage, the Denver Mint produced approximately 519,962,888 quarters in 1985, a very large number, which makes the coin extremely common in circulated condition. As a result, the typical circulated 1985 D Washington quarter is worth only its face value of 25 cents. However, if the coin is found in uncirculated condition, mint state, especially with sharp details, full luster, and no signs of wear, its value can increase slightly for collectors. In MS63 to MS65, a 1985 D quarter may be worth around $3 to $10. In higher grades like MS66 or MS67, prices can reach $25 to $100 or more, depending on how clean and well struck the coin is. The highest graded examples, MS67 Plus, are rare and may be valued higher by registry collectors who seek perfection. There were no proof versions of the 1985 D quarter struck at the Denver Mint. All proof 1985 quarters were made at the San Francisco Mint with an S mint mark and sold in collector proof sets. These feature a mirror-like surface and frosted design elements and are worth around $3 to $5, with perfect PR70 Deep Cameo examples commanding a bit more. In terms of varieties or errors, the 1985 D quarter is not known for any major doubled dies or dramatic variations. However, like all mass-produced coins, occasional mint errors can exist, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or struck-through debris. These error coins can be worth $10 to several $100s based on rarity and visual appeal. Next up, the 1990p Washington quarter dollar was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and it's identified by the P mint mark located on the obverse side of the coin, to the right of George Washington's ponytail. Like all regular issue quarters minted after 1965, it is made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, not silver, so its metal content value is very low, just a few cents. The Philadelphia Mint produced a massive quantity of these coins in 1990, over 613 million, making the 1990p quarter very common, especially in circulated condition. For that reason, a typical 1990p quarter found in pocket change is worth only its face value of 25 cents. In terms of collector value, the coin becomes more desirable only in uncirculated mint state grades. A 1990p quarter, graded MS-63 to MS-65, may be worth about $1 to $5, depending on its quality, eye appeal, and demand. Higher-grade examples, such as those graded MS-66 or MS-67, can be worth more, $15 to $50 or more. But they must have full original luster, clean surfaces, and strong strikes. Coins with exceptional quality may be sought after by collectors building high-end Washington quarter sets. The proof version of the 1990 quarter was minted at the San Francisco Mint and bears an S mint mark. These were made for collectors and sold in U.S. mint-proof sets. Featuring deeply mirrored fields and frosted devices, a standard 1990s proof quarter is typically worth $3 to $5, while perfect PR $70. Deep cameo graded examples can fetch $15 to $25, depending on market demand. There are no widely recognized major errors or varieties for the 1990p Washington quarter in standard references, but some individual mint errors have been found, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or broad strikes. These can range in value from $10 to over $100, depending on the severity and uniqueness of the error. Historically, the 1990p quarter is part of the long-running Washington quarter series that began in 1932. It features John Flanagan's portrait of George Washington on the obverse and the heraldic eagle reverse, which had been in use since 1932 and would continue until 1998. 1990 issue is one of the final coins before the significant redesign in 1999, when the U.S. Mint introduced the 50-state quarters program, a change that revitalized interest in quarter collecting and introduced a new generation to the hobby.